Hi, we are the Icecream Centers team, the development team of Field de Foreign. Our team is conformed by Nevin Almanza, Abraham Luna, Mario Tejada, and Luis Soto. In this video, we will talk about the elements that are part of our project and how they work. First, we're gonna talk about the custom dialog. In previous presentations, we talked about the implementation of the custom dialogues in our project. This was an important part of the development because the interactions that the user has with the app and its elements are the part of this implementation. This class was implemented in the menu of settings in this project. In this implementation, we use onClick Listener to call drawable resources with the use the temporally variable. From there, the user can use the objects and change the configuration of the app. After that, we start working in the rest of the menus with which the user interacts, which in turn work with the treats and the application database to archive interaction with the rest of the elements on the app.
Okay, hi, my name is Mario Tejada, and now I'm going to show you how the threads work in our app. These three progress bars work with threads, and also these text fields that we see. So, what does that mean? In order to always have progress bar that were being updated independently of the main activity, we have to play with 4 variables. I'm talking about the life status, hungry, happiness, and also the money. So now if we look in the code, we see in the main activity class that the threads are written in this form. And why in this form? So it's more simply to understand that the class Ilovida extends thread. Thread have a lot of methods that help us to work with secondary tasks. We choose this way to write the threads because we don't need implement handlers. It's because the threads with the run on user interface thread that we look right here operate, send the message to the main activity thread. So basically, all this code is gonna execute in the main activity thread. Okay, so now I'm gonna show you how our threads work in our application. So basically, when our application starts for the first time, it's always gonna be set the progress bar in 100%. But if we look how the class ilohambre is written, we can see that every time that the while statement is running, it's true, the run user interface is going to execute some conditionals that follows that the next logic that every 2.5 seconds is gonna disincrease the amber points of the foreign students in 1. So basically, amber points is gonna be the same that amber bar, the progress bar. Amber points is always begin with 100% or 100 points. So that tells you that every time that we start for the first time, the application is gonna be in 100%. But if we can see the application now is in 69% because it's always disincreasing. And the next conditional tells us that if amber points is less than 15, now felicidad points is gonna start disincreasing. So if we look felicidad points, felicidad class, sorry, we can see that also we have conditional here. So all is a game of conditionals that lead us to a very funny game. So now the thread ambre is in 15% or less. So happiness starts increasing too. We can see that. And that's all for the threads. And every time we close the app, it's gonna be saved in our database.
Well, I'm gonna talk about the database that we use in our application. Here in the main screen you can see that we have different types of data that needs to be stored. For example, the life points, happiness points, the hunger points, and the money. Even so, and the inventory, because we can buy items from either the pharmacy or the store, and we need to save those items. And even if the app is closed, those items need to we need them to be saved into the inventory. So we use a database made with SQLite that is built in Android. For example, we have this class called base de datos, in which we have all the methods we use to make our SQL sentences. For example, we have at the beginning we create the different tables. We have 3 tables: inventory, statistics, and the main table, which is the foreign table, which saves the name, the skin, and the ID. On the onCreate method, we create the databases. On onCreate, there's some code that says if the table already exists, it is deleted, and then the new table that you created stays in the database. This is because every time you open the app, it creates a new table, and so on and so on and so on. So this code is to help to avoid that and just have one table at a time. This doesn't affect the data that is saved into the database. It doesn't just deletes the table. The data is kept intact. We have another method which is used to save the items into the database. This is a method to make sure, for example, every time you close the app, you need to save the stats. For example, the life points and hunger points, happiness points. But every time you open, you need to take the data that you saved and insert it again into the for example in the threads, which is what we use to make this function. So we have this method that makes sure that it's the first time that the application is running, to know if it's to avoid any kind of trouble. We have another method which is basically the same, which is used to save the statistics. We have another method which is used to save the name, the skin, and the ID of our foráneo. We have another method which is used to get those statistics and to insert them into the threads. We have other method which is used to eliminate statistics. We have another method which is used to eliminate the items. For example, each time you use an item, the item will cost, for example, if you buy a bottle of water, it will give you 5 points. 5 points in the hunger bar. And you use the item, so the item needs to be deleted. So this method is used for that. So each time you use an item, this method is called so that the item is removed from the inventory. We have this method that is used to show the items. This method, we call this method to every time you open the inventory, so you can see what items are stored in there. And we have another method to update the table inventory. So where every time you use an item or buy an item, this method is called, so that the list is updated. It was quite difficult, but it makes the job done.
Okay, I'm going to explain how did we figure out how to refresh the list view in which we are showing the current items we have in the inventory. And for that we worked in the modelo, the activity datos, the lista modelo, the base de datos, and the adaptador datos class. Because it was kind of weird, because we had to play with the IDs of the registers in the database. Well, first of all, we have two arrays. We are initializing two arrays. One in which we are going to store the item, like the name, and the other in which we are going to store the ID. And then we assign that that we are like updating that database method that we are going to use below of all. Okay, let's explain a little about this. First, we have to initialize those arrays, and then we are going to delete an item from the inventory, and then, like we already had initialized the array, we have to refresh it, and for that we are calling it again, and then we are going to update the database, and then we are going to like update the arrays. I had a lot of things in my brain when I did this, so I don't I don't want to explain very detail of the code, but in a summary is like this. And then after the arrays are initialized, we are going to set the adapter of the list view. I don't know why we put recycler view as the name of a list view. Anyways, we are setting that array in which we were working to the adapter of the list view. We were using these classes, for example, modelo, in which is going to use, well, is used in the database class as a list of lista modelo, in which represent an item in the game, and it is returning us a object of type list. And with that, I was figuring out how to use loops in order to initialize to local arrays, and then assign two arrays to the adapter of the list view. And that's it.